Hello, I'm Dr. Martin Baxmann. Today, we're going to talk about something that can truly make or break a practice, and that's the critical difference between productive refinement and, well, paralyzing perfectionism. We're going to look at how shifting your focus from these huge, massive overhauls to small, incremental improvements can unlock sustainable growth, really boost your team's morale, and, of course, improve patient outcomes. So let's dive in. So here's our game plan for this discussion. First, we're going to talk about something called the perfectionism trap, and I'm sure many of us have fallen into it. Then we'll shift gears to a mindset of refinement and see how celebrating small wins is just so powerful for your team. After that, we'll actually quantify this by looking at compounding efficiency. And then we'll wrap it all up by talking about what it means to lead your practice through this kind of change. All right, first up, let's tackle a challenge that I know is familiar to every single ambitious practice owner out there. It's the pitfall that comes from our best intentions, and I call it the perfectionism trap. It really is the silent killer of progress. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You leave a great seminar, absolutely buzzing with energy. You come back to the office on Monday morning, ready to revolutionize everything overnight. You want to change every single system, rewrite every protocol all at once. Now, that ambition is fantastic, but more often than not, it leads us straight into a wall. And this really gets right to the heart of it. On one hand, you have productive ambition, which drives action and growth. But on the other, you have perfectionism, which makes you second guess and overthink every little detail. Things like how to sort old bracket stock or whether some tiny change needs a whole new policy written for it. All of a sudden, your focus shifts from making progress to avoiding any and all risk. And what happens? You get stagnation. So let's just call it what it is. Perfectionism isn't really about having high standards. It's a very sophisticated, very clever form of procrastination. When you spend all your time and all your energy trying to design the absolute perfect plan that avoids every single possible problem, you never actually start. It's a barrier that keeps you and your entire practice just stuck at the starting line. Okay, so if perfectionism is the trap, what's the way out? Well, it's not a tactic, it's a fundamental shift in mindset. We need to explore the path to real, sustainable change, and that means adopting a mindset of refinement. And here is the core idea. The goal isn't to reach some flawless, finished, static state. True excellence, especially in a modern practice, is a dynamic process. It's an ongoing journey of making small, positive, continuous improvements. It's all about getting just a little bit better every single day. Let's make this real with a practical example. Say your current bonding time is 90 minutes and your big goal is 15 minutes. Well, aiming for that 15-minute standard by next week is just a recipe for failure. The gap is way too big. Your team is going to feel defeated before they even begin. But what if you aim for 85 minutes this week? Then maybe 80 the next. These are manageable baby steps. They create a sustainable habit of improvement that will actually get you to that big goal. Now, this whole incremental approach, it does something else, something really powerful that goes way beyond just process improvement. It directly fuels your team's motivation because you're creating a culture of small, consistent wins. This is where you actually transform the psychology of your practice. Think about it. Every 5-minute improvement is a milestone, and it's absolutely worth celebrating. These small wins provide those crucial emotional rewards that keep a team engaged and prevent them from burning out. You could try highlighting this progress with a story of the day in your morning huddles. It just builds this incredible positive momentum and shows your team that their efforts really do matter. It reinforces the progress, not perfection, is what we're all aiming for. Okay, now let's put some numbers to this. It's really easy to dismiss these small refinements as, well, trivial, but their cumulative effect is absolutely dramatic. Let's actually look at how saving mere seconds can create minutes of productive time, cut down on stress, and just improve the flow of your entire day. Let's consider a scenario. An assistant takes just 30 extra seconds per patient to change an arch wire. It sounds like absolutely nothing, doesn't it? Just a minor hiccup in an otherwise busy schedule. But what's the real impact of that over the course of a busy afternoon? The cost? It's 25 minutes. Yeah, if you see 50 patients in a day, that tiny little 30-second delay adds up to nearly half an hour of unnecessary overtime. And that's not just time, that's 25 minutes of added stress, of team friction, of lost efficiency, all from a delay that seemed too small to even notice. Now, look what happens when we apply just a little bit of refinement. By focusing on improving that one single step by only 15 seconds, and maybe that's as simple as reorganizing a single drawer, you cut that wasted overtime in half. This right here is the compounding power of incremental change. Small, focused improvements yield massive returns, both in your efficiency and in your team's morale. And this brings us to our final, and maybe most important piece of the puzzle. Adopting this mindset isn't just some clinical or administrative tactic. It's a core leadership philosophy, one that transforms your role from being a micromanager into a true strategist. And don't think for a second that this principle of refinement is limited to chairside procedures. No, it applies to everything. How you handle insurance claims, how you manage patient cooperation, how you approve digital setups. It creates this continuous flow of improvement that your entire team can get behind without feeling completely overwhelmed by another big initiative. Which leads to a crucial point for you as a leader. You have to trust your team. Delegate these micro refinements. Seriously, if you find yourself spending way too much time negotiating a few degrees of rotation on a digital setup, let an expert on your team handle it. This empowers them, and even more importantly, it frees you up to focus on the high-level clinical oversight and the strategic leadership that only you can provide. We've covered a lot of ground, but it all comes down to taking that first small step. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What is the one small, incremental refinement your practice can identify and implement this week to start this journey of continuous improvement?